What? Oh, okay.
Okay.
That was weird. Glitch.
Was a weird glitch. Okay. I'm going to make some more calls.
We're just starting up part 2 on YouTube of ATM's all day live, 8+ hours.
8+.
The stream ended for some reason, so hopefully this one will go the rest all right. As you can tell, we're reaching a bit of the fatigue, the initial first fatigue bump.
First wave, bro.
First
and then
wave.
You get your second wind. Okay.
It's been only 3 hours. I have to make sure I end this one before 4 hours. If you could help me out, try and remember. It's not there yet, but. Communicate via notes.
What?
Communicate via notes.
You want me to go do that now?
Yeah, give you an hour of that.
So you're just going to carry this for an hour?
Yeah, I think I can handle that.
Can I go downstairs here?
That's fine.
I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I have to take things.
Maybe I'll do one of my bird pals while you're gone. Make it an hour-long bird pal.
Hour-long bird pal. This thing is so hot.
I really hope that first video saved on YouTube.
Did it? Did you press the post button?
It doesn't have that. It just has a edit in studio button or a dismiss button when it notifies you that it's ended. So I press dismiss because I'm not about to edit a video. But it doesn't. Last time I didn't need to edit it for it to post. I just pressed edit and then didn't edit it. You know, that's if you want to edit it. I don't know. We'll find out. You know, learning technology with ATM.
Learning about lives on live.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing that titillating content with all they do.
I love to really bring it meta. I love to bring it meta. Mm-hmm. You just dropped my sweater.
Well, it's supposed to grip that.
Yeah. What was the bird pal that I wanted to do? Let me find it. Let the rain fall down. Ah, yes.
You passed me my water bottle.
Mm-hmm. Right, see you in an hour.
Bye.
I can tell you're sad to leave the recorded.
I am.
The recorder is your friend. You know, narcissists liking attention. You get attention from inanimate black cube demons too. I'm gonna do a bird pal about an article that I'm not even gonna read. Oh, I guess I'll read it. I'll open it up. I'll skim it. The headline, though, is substitute teacher couple busted for prostitution to make extra money or, quote unquote, they'll starve after cops pull off undercover operation. So I feel like this is the kind of article that like libs of TikTok would like share or something. Two Tennessee elementary substitute teachers who were a couple cited for prostitution. They did it for extra money for several years or they'd starve. They're in their 20s, early 20s. Wow, $150. That is low. Low standards. And you know, this couple is the ilk of hipster type that I came from before here. Look ugly intentionally. So this couple is definitely doing that. Their apartment even looks like mine. Instagram bio, rabid queer, gender anarchist, college dropout. Trans, disabled, queer, Puerto Rican. Yeah, these are the type of people I was friends with. Very much so, like exactly. So honestly, this one of these people looks like a friend of mine who was Cuban, queer, trans, disabled, and had all those things as a very front runner to their identity. Whereas I was like, you know, I had to be a sex worker to have my clout because I was just a white girl and pretend to be queer. Pretend is an interesting word because I think I was kind of like ideologically brainwashed to the point of identifying as that term when I was just like a bisexual woman who had barely been bisexual. Yeah, so like what are my thoughts about this? What does it make me think about? What are the connections or whatever? A bit of background about my pain matrix life before I came to this army, what I stopped doing so that I would be able to come to this army. because these things I'm about to mention are actually, contrary to popular media belief, not allowed in this army. But before this army, I was a sex worker. I would definitely have used that terminology back then. I was a sex worker. I would, meet clients to have sex with them for money. And I had a lot of side hustles. While identifying as an artist overall, I was also totally related to this article. I was also a substitute teacher and a nanny, which is a crazy combination of jobs. It is insane and so much a part of last capitalism in the pain matrix that these things were all connected. I was doing those three things at the same time. Not literally at the same time, but I had those jobs all in the same few year period in Chicago, actually. And looking at this article, there's some bit of a kind of pain when because it reminds me of where I was, that it's a little painful to look back at with versus where I am now, to see that I was so messy. And the part that really gets me is the line that these people use, I had to do it or I'd starve. That level of it's very much like the Phoenix side, the liberal art school, city, whatever vibe side, that you have to victimize yourself to the nth degree. And also you just have to part of that victimization is thinking of yourself as less than and downtrodden, when it's a total choice. So I think back to when I was in Chicago and starting sex work, in my head, at the time of doing it, I totally had the same outlook as these people in this article. I was like, I'm not getting any jobs, and the restaurant jobs I have access to are just so bad. It's just like I'm selling my body. It's actually not. It's completely different. Yes, it's a shitty job, but it's completely different. And in my head, I was like, well, I'll do this because it pays more and I have to make money. I was on such a subsistence level of what I thought I could do and make and be, partially because I didn't want to be successful in the pain matrix. I had no aspirations inside that system, but also I was just I was the type of victim that gets created out of the art school liberal arts pipeline. And so many of those people are sex workers, in a way that they totally are motivated by things that they don't think they're motivated by. In my case, daddy issues, low self-esteem, a certain type of laziness. And hey, I understand why everyone's lazy in the pain matrix last cap life. It's a crazy place to be. There's not a lot of options, but let's be real. There's so many options to not be a sex worker if you're A, went to college, B, are any kind of middle upper to upper class to upper. And those were all the people from those areas that were doing sex work that I knew, and me, my background in Chicago. And pretending to be more downtrodden than we were, to be nice victims, to work into the slot that made it easier. And I'm just this article hurts because they're so ugly. They're so ugly on purpose. I was just sharing in a group here in the Daily Life Army pictures of me before I joined this army and after, and just how ugly I made myself look through how I treated myself, through how I thought about myself, which was as a victim, and I needed to be authentic, and to be authentic would be to minimize every part of me that could be seen as powerful or having privilege. And it's such a classic thing that white girls do, but I think it spreads to not just white girls in the art school liberal pipeline. What are you doing back here?
Forgot something.
Of course, because you get a little extra screen time in, make a little dramatic re-entrance and re-exit. Yeah, part of that authenticity try-hardness is like you have to be authentic either by, cause if you don't have race or a disability or a fake disability or whatever, you have to have it through being like tattooed and unshaven armpits and legs and like a sex worker and like substitute teaching in the streets on the west and south side of Chicago. But anyways, like these people in this article that were doing this that got caught, I don't think they ever thought that their actions would have consequences. First of all, I certainly didn't. It was edgy to me that I was doing something like that. Not like I didn't think about the risks or anything, especially because I was doing it in such a messy way. And also the thing that burned is I feel this whenever I see bad hoe shit of like super low priced like bullshit that is just like, I'm not even saying that the sex marketplace and the pay matrix is a good thing to be a part of. It's going to be fucked up no matter what by nature of just it existing in the pay matrix. This is not I'm not like a pro sex worker account here, but like that these types of people who just like don't put any effort into it and or their appearance or having enough self-respect to like actually get any kind of decent money from it are the people bottoming out the industry, part of the thought market collapse for people who have been taking it super seriously and are maybe like high level, high performing dominatrixes or escorts who like are charging, you know, $1,500 for a dinner. That market is collapsing because of like men or whatever, mostly men, but other people just being like, I can just go to this messy blue-haired hoe who will take $100. But that's neither here nor there, I guess. It's just a thing I've noticed and something I was contributing to as someone doing it for like the reasons I was doing it, which are not needs. I did not need to do that. I did not need to do that at all. And that's the thing that I think most sticks out to me about this article that I'm looking at here. Like these people did not need to either and are lying, saying that they do need to. So it makes them victims and they can, you know, whatever. So and like, let me touch a little bit more on the fact that this article mentions their substitute teachers as well. And that the fact that I was a substitute teacher and a nanny while also doing self-employed sex work before this army, to be clear, in Chicago where I lived, probably doing it from the years 2016 to 19 or 18, 20, like, yeah, 2016, 2017, and 2018. Those 3 years were like when it was really happening. It's just like, I wasn't consciously thinking about doing all those things at the same time and what that meant. And I don't even think that these people in this article were aware of like the problems of those things all happening at the same time. But I think it's one like angle, or that is indicative of a real big issue. People my age and younger and maybe even older, but like maybe like old millennials to like now, whatever the 20-year-olds are called now, Gen Alpha or whatever, like we are problems with boundaries and like mixing private and public, mixing and not knowing what is totally unacceptable versus like acceptable to do, because we think of ourselves as children, first of all. We don't think of ourselves as adults. We think of ourselves as victims and as like not accountable to our like actions and decisions. So that's already like contributing to it, contributing to like letting this kind of thing happen. And I think there are people who are like actively consciously malicious about it. Like there are people who are like bringing their gender into like the classroom with the children they teach. There are people like doing actual abuse of children because of and using their queerness or their victimness or their cults, whatever cults they're in, LGBTQ cults, whatever, like they're using that to get access to children and have very crazy lack of boundaries or the wrong mix of things. I don't think this couple is doing that, but I think they're totally a clickbait article that can be used to feed the fire of the like Golden Dawn side, like the Libs of TikTok side, that's like totally trying to stoke shit with saying all that and sharing all that, which isn't to say that it's not happening, but they're just one side of like the war they're fabricating, the culture war of the right and the left. And I'm not gonna be on either of those sides because I'm in this army, which doesn't have sides like that. It's not engaged in that war. It's not at all, actually. But it isn't to say that there aren't real truths on both sides that are getting warped and used. But I'm like getting way too heady and out of my own personal experience with this and just like the feelings of what it was like reading this article, but just reminded me of some of that stuff, which I think about a lot because I like came from such the liberal Phoenix side of things. And I had a fascination with, especially early on in my time here at this army, with the right side, like the not alt-right, I would call it, but like the like hipster alt-right side that's like $1 million extreme, like underground, whatever. The thing that could be distilled now is like Red Scare Pod people, but that's like not exactly it. Like the conspiracy side of people of culture wars that's like then became that. I got more interested in that side, but it's still in this army realized more of how that side is just a trap because it's easier to see how the left side is just disgusting and horrible because it's like PR on it is intentionally bad and falling apart, but the PR on the right is still supposed to be like convincing to people. So I have issues with, and I think more of my issues were probably focused the year before this with like taking belief out of that side and not just being a reaction going the other direction from the liberal left side to just go into that, because that side's just as satanic. It's just in different ways and has better, at this point, better PR. Left used to have better PR. Yeah, so I guess that's my bird pal. It's gone way over 6 minutes. Yeah, I definitely still have some shame about my past, that's for sure, and what I did and the reasons I did it and how like stupid I was. But I'm grateful to not be there anymore. I stopped doing sex work when I basically started talking to Day Life Army from afar and doing URL soldiering at that point. But then at that point, I guess I was still like meeting up with people to talk on dates and stuff. I just like washing from afar. This is something more about washing, like talking about it accelerating your wants and needs. And for me and my day type, I'm focusing on the things I don't need and getting rid of the things I don't need. So when I started washing, I started things in my life. I started getting rid of things I didn't need. So I like and figuring out what I actually didn't want to do. So I very pretty much almost immediately after really starting to wash, I did not need to and stopped doing all forms of like actual sex work. And yet I still got money without doing that stuff. And yeah, I didn't need to look uglier than I was for clout, so I stopped doing that. I didn't need to be pretending I had to be broke for clout as well, or authenticity, or making myself broke. And it's really like a lifestyle, like regardless of how much money, because I don't even like use money in the way that like I did in the Pain Matrix now. Like I don't have my own bank account with money in it that I go out and spend things on. Like, this army buys everything I need for me and delivers it. Like, I'm out of that process. I don't have control over that process. For me at this moment as a soldier, I'm not saying my whole life that'll be the case, but like for where I am at and what I'm doing, it actually like takes away so many of the things that I don't need to be doing, so I can focus and have focus on other things. And like, I'm just thinking back to the past. Like, I didn't need to go out and like buy crazy like vegan health foods for like $200 and like always go out and buy like a coffee or a treat. The way I used money and like having control over like the things that I chose to have control over, I just did it so crazy. I did it so crazy. I mean, I know what I just said doesn't sound crazy to some people, but perspective from where I'm at now, looking back, it seems so crazy how I use money, how I use food. And I still try to do it crazy, even within the like structures of this army and like whatever, how this army puts in like stop gaps, or like, I would maybe you call it like a parental control on a computer. It's like, no, you can't do this or that because it's all handled and it's like very systematized for you. And it's like a choice too, like me making that choice to hand over that control, to get it out of my hands by nature being in this. Yeah, I never would have thought it would have felt how it feels now, but the kind of quote unquote like freedom of feeling like you have $300 in your bank account from just like going and having sex with someone you didn't even want to have sex with, but like did. This is, I'm talking about before I came here, like my life in Chicago, but like getting the high of that like pithy amount that seems big to you, and like going and like to Whole Foods and getting all these treats and crazy foods, and then like getting a sugar high, and like just like buying bullshit. Feels like freedom in the pain matrix, I guess. That's what feels like exciting. But man, like, you don't need it. I did not need it. And the things that I gained from giving those things up are just like, it's like a million times more valuable and better and feels better. What is this? I guess this is going out of a bird pal and into testifying about washing what this army has gotten me. And let me be clear, focusing on like what this army has shown me that I do not need. Because for a good girl day type like myself, it's about that. It's focusing on those things that I don't need. So yeah, there's a ton of things that I do not have in my life anymore that I'm really happy to get rid of, that at the time I would have never wanted to. Like, if you saw me on the street in Chicago after I had just like been to some client's house, gotten $300 to $500, and was like on my way to the grocery store, I'd be like, don't take this away from me. This is my life. I'm free and fancy, and I'm a working girl who's got clout on the street, and like my life's cool. I don't want to like. I just, yeah, you wouldn't have been able to tell me that. And the process of doing it and where I am now, I look back at that same person who I was back then, and I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. I would never want that. I can't even imagine. And I'll be real, I'm still getting over my sweets addiction. So yeah, if you told me I could go buy some treats with a budget I could use to get whatever I wanted, and like get back on that sugar high ride, parts of me now would be like wanting it still, and being like, even if now I can consciously be like, yeah, I would never want to like hoe and trick around the city like a crazy person and do whatever, yeah, that's obvious. But like, I'm still dealing with the like desire to kind of get treats and high from sugar and like use my control issues around food still. Because like white women who are watching this, like white witchdom, I don't think other people realize how deep, because it sounds almost silly, but like how deep sugar and bread and like treats and that whole idea is to white women and white woman witchdom. Like it runs really deep. It's like a really deep program. Like it's really deep. I'm not even saying like all sugar and all bread is bad right now, to be clear. It's just context and how you use things. And who's using them. I think I'm just thinking back now to like how I kind of didn't mention in that bird pal about the couple that got busted for prostitution, who were also substitute teachers. Like when I said that's a crazy combination of jobs to have and the lack of boundaries, even if you're not like combining the two explicitly, I think part of what I meant about like the subtleties of that problem is more like it attracts both of those like things. And substitute teacher could also just be like teacher, nanny, child care in general. Both of those realms attract a type of person who's like a really craving attention and a power dynamic where they can get it from people in a way that someone with low self-esteem or like issues, very certain issues, I guess. I'm trying to like, it's hard for me to like figure out how to say this. It just attracts this type of person where if they were to like lean into and follow all those threads, could become super problematic, even if they aren't. And many do. And like, yeah, the kind of person who needs validation from Johns, or the kind of brokenness that would, even if they were to deny it, regard like sex positivity bullshit, that has most people who do it, especially at this like low level unprofessional bullshit level, like that this couple was doing it and that I was doing it in sex work, like they are craving things including validation and have low self-esteem and issues with their parents or whatever, that lead to that. I think that coupled with like a job or working with children for other reasons that are part of that same kind of personality type, if not for validation, perhaps like feeling like they can be getting positive attention that doesn't require vulnerability, like a adult relationship. It's like you have to have it because you're like, any child's gonna like their babysitter. I mean, most any child, it's like fun to get the babysitter to come over. Any child's gonna like trust and give a certain type of attention to a teacher. So I feel like even if you're not the type of or the level of like someone who's doing really fucked up shit, who's having lack of boundaries and like doing abuse, who's like a teacher and doing that kind of thing, I feel like you have to look at the seeds that start that behavior, and those types of personalities being involved in those jobs. It starts with this kind of thing, like this article was talking about. It starts with even if that person isn't going to do it, that culture starts the thing of like attracting people who are going to be even crazier or thinking of themselves in a certain way and trying to get certain things from it. So not going all the way into the crazy, like alt-right in terms of the left-right like dichotomy or whatever of like libs of TikTok posting that every single person who's in the LGBT community is a pedophile, because that's crazy. There is a culture. There's a culture that is engendered that it can attract certain personalities, regardless of like whatever they're doing in their private lives, which no one wants to keep private anymore because of these lack of boundaries lifestyles. But Yeah. Just thinking about that. That bird pal really stuck with me. Clearly, I'm still like having feelings about it. Let me wave to these people. This is our second ATM, me and Jesus' second all-day live. Jesus is out, has left the building. He's gone for like how many more? 30 more minutes? I'm the introvert of us two, so you can tell. We'll just leave it at that. What are we on? Like, we're 3.5 hours in. We have 4.5 hours to go. We've been talking about our careers in this army from past to present. We had a couple callers. We'll have callers later. We like doing washes on live. That's fun if anyone wants to. Social, financial. I guess those are the two washes. Yeah, do a social or financial wash when they're calling in. Probably in like an hour, we might start that up again. And if you don't want to join live on call, you can always ask questions or chime in questions or comments. I'm just chilling. I'm just eating my bowl porridge over here. I have a Hillary Duff song stuck in my head. Nice. Let me test if I can send. I probably can't do that while I'm streaming. I guess I'll just have to type it out. I have so many nice charts that I've made on the wall. Wow. So bad at putting away his laundry. I'm trying to do something about the horrible lighting this room has, not even in real life, just on screen. It's like it transforms it. I feel like way more of a crazy person when I talk alone in this room without Jesus, like, because it's way more obvious that I'm just talking to screens. Damn it. Something that I learned I loved only after being here for a while is I didn't even know the really thing about the terminology either, but nesting as a bird, nesting is kind of one of my favorite things. If I'm gonna just be doing shit in silence, at least I'll turn the camera this way. Can I? Can I do it? I think so. Usually I make breakfasts and dinners, and then Jesus takes care of his own lunch. But he's not here and he's doing something else, and I feel bored without access to my phone or my computer to really do other things. So I'm gonna just, make his lunch. That's bad. 1 second.
Hello.
Hi.
Zone was being used. How's the live been?
The live has been so boring.
Really?
Nothing.
Has anyone come on and any phone calls, anything on the chat?
Babe, I can't make any phone calls. All my devices are in use.
I'm not saying yeah. Chat activity, chat. What's up, y'all? I'm back. Nick Stanifer. Oh, he was one of the people I was gonna call, or he was gonna call in.
Yeah.
Can he call in?
I'm sure.
Does he have a landline? So I think he was talking about calling in on a landline. All right. Are we gonna change the chat, change the Instagram thing so we can do something, a transfer of some kind?
When it gets to 4 hours, yeah. Or just right before.
Okay, it's 12.
Yeah.
I'm saying for the anyway.
It's not where we need to be anyways.
Okay.
I'm making your lunch so that you can do other things. Because I was bored.
Because you're bored.
Yeah.
Okay.
I basically rambled for 30 minutes about a bird pal.
You just did the one bear pal for 30 minutes?
Bird pal.
I said bear pal. Baird pal.
You combined the words.
Hey, chat. I'm back.
You're addicted to chat.
What? No, I'm not. I am a little bit. Where's my hat?
Good catch. Wow.
All right, guys. Time to make some more initiations. Let's get Nick Stanford on the phone. Huh?
Nothing.
What?
The way you say words sometimes is funny. You just said Nick Stanford.
Sorry.
Not that I'm like, it's just a little larger.
Hey, what's up? How's it going, Pulp Angel? Welcome to our all-day live. We're going live all day. We're taking calls. Look at the pinned post. You know, give a call if you'd like to be on the chat.
I've talked to Pulp Angel before.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think I remember her. I think we've talked in the messages before. She's like from the art, kind of like arty pipeline too. She's into art or something.
This is the kind of uncomfortable live stream where when you jump on the chat, we talk about you. And we've talked to you before. How's it going? Everyone who comes on, I recommend that you should make a wash and do the thing. Pulp Angel says hi. We're this is like an all-day live that we're doing. We're going live for 8+ hours right now.
All day.
All day is in like the work day, you know, an 8-hour work day, right? Isn't that how much you work in so we did a 12-hour one 3 weeks ago, and now we're doing this. Yeah, doing the thing. Thanks for jumping on the thing. If you want to call in, my number is 470-579-0414. We're having guests on the show. And yeah, because I guess we can't do the feature of someone jumping on a video.
It doesn't work. It just
Doesn't
shuts
work.
down my Instagram because it's so weird.
It shuts it down.
This makes it like laggy and like it doesn't work anymore. Really.
Bum, 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 bum.